Patient Zero. The name Iris Caldwell was an enigma, mentioned in whispers, crossed out in hospital records, erased from history. But as Lena dove deeper into the archives, a pattern emerged. Iris had been committed to several asylums across the eastern United States, her name reappearing like an uninvited shadow. And yet, every time she was officially declared deceased, Iris would simply vanish from the records for a time, only to resurface years later under a different name, a different identity. Her story began in 1934 at Crestwood Asylum, where she was brought in as a young girl. Diagnosed with a severe case of schizophrenia, Iris's condition seemed to deteriorate rapidly. But despite the passage of time, no one could explain why she didn't age, why her appearance remained that of a 20-year-old woman year after year. As the record showed, she was deemed dead after only a few months in Crestwood, buried in the institution's unmarked graveyard. But by 1959, Iris's name reappeared at a new facility, this time under a different identity, Eliza Bradford. The cycle repeated in 1983, this time at Westbrook Psychiatric Hospital, where she resurfaced once more under the name Isabelle Davenport. The records from that time were fragmented, full of strange annotations, mentions of experimental treatments, of blood transfusions, of unethical procedures. All the while, Iris, or whoever she was now, remained eerily ageless, her appearance frozen in time. Lena and Devon scoured patient archives and interviewed former staff, hoping to find something, anything, that could explain this impossible phenomenon. But what they discovered wasn't just medical malpractice. It was something far darker, more insidious. As Lena pored over transcripts of old psychiatric evaluations, something stood out. A particular entry from Westbrook in 1983 had been marked with a peculiar note. Subject speaks of someone still building. The phrase struck a chord with Lena. It was the same phrase that had haunted her dreams since she first set foot in Penhurst Asylum. The whispering voices had always spoken of someone still building, but who? The deeper Lena dug into Iris Caldwell's life, the more inconsistent the records became. Each asylum Iris was admitted to, Crestwood, Westbrook, Fairfield Hills, shared a disturbing common thread. Each had been designed by the same architect, the same mysterious figure. It was as though these institutions weren't just places of confinement, but tools designed for something far beyond simple psychiatry. But what was Iris's connection to the architect? Why had she been subjected to so many facilities? And why had she never aged? As Lena investigated further, she came across a medium who had visited Penhurst in the early 1980s. The woman, now long dead, had once written about a strange vision she had during a session with a patient. The medium spoke of a girl trapped in multiple timelines, wandering between asylums, caught in a cycle she couldn't escape. The most chilling part, the medium's notes described the girl as saying, "He's still building." The medium had believed Iris was being used as part of an experiment, one that involved manipulation of time, of memory, and perhaps even of consciousness itself. But the most damning piece of evidence came from an old audio recording Lena found buried in a file labeled "Missing Patients" from Danvers State Hospital. The tape was grainy, the sound distorted, but Lena could make out a familiar voice, a voice that seemed to come from Iris herself, though the voice was different, distant, almost mechanical. "I never left. He's still building. He's watching me." Lena's blood ran cold. The phrase was becoming a sickening mantra, and now it was clear that Iris had never been a normal patient. She had been part of something much larger, something that had continued to haunt the asylums for decades. Desperately, Lena reached out to a psychic medium named Samantha Fields, someone who had experience with entities that haunted these institutions. When Samantha arrived, she immediately sensed something off about Lena, something familiar. "You've been here before, haven't you?" Samantha asked, her voice soft but knowing. Lena froze. How could she know that? Samantha continued, her voice barely above a whisper. "I see it in your eyes. You've met her before. You are part of this. You are part of what he's building." Devon stepped forward, confusion written on his face. "What do you mean?" Samantha turned toward him, her gaze hard. "Iris Caldwell. She's been calling you. She's been trying to reach you both. And it's not just her, it's something else. Something that has been growing in these asylums for years. You don't remember, but you've crossed paths with her before." A sense of dread washed over Lena, as if something from her past, something buried deep within her mind, was beginning to surface. Iris, the architect, the asylums. They weren't just stories, they were real, and the cycle was about to complete.